The other thing that happened that was significant was during the clearing out of the city in Barwana. So now we're, as I mentioned, street by street, house by house. And then once that clearing was done, I think it took about 7 to 10 days to clear the city. Once the city was cleared, then we're operating like 2-3 patrols a day just to make a presence known. And I remember this, myself and the lieutenant, so we had 30 plus Marines in our platoon. We would take turns. The lieutenant would take half the platoon out, and I would stay back with the other half, man the radio. And so we were, in essence, like the QRF, the quick response force. If they got in a pinch, we could respond. And if I was out, he would respond. And so this one time I'm out on this patrol, and we're just on our feet and patrolling through this city. And we have certain checkpoints that we would hit. It wasn't just this random stroll. Everything's strategic. Everything's planned, ordered. And as I've mentioned, we've cleared the city, but there's still a potential threat. And I remember this one particular patrol. I'm out there, and there was a house that we had gotten some intel that there potentially could be some intel or some insurgents in this one particular house. And so we hit the house. And so the way it works over there is you can't just knock on the door. You have to kick a door in. And the reason for that is because you have to assume that everything you're doing out there is under observation, and it is. The enemy out there doesn't wear a uniform. Only we wear a uniform. So we're identified, they are not. But they're there, and they're watching. And if an American Marine or soldier were to knock on a door and that family let them in, that family is now a target because they've cooperated with American forces. So you have to do everyone a favor, and you have to force entry just for their own safety. That's what you have to do. And once you hit a house and you search a house and you do that to a house, you can't hit that house again. Right, so you mark it, and you're not going back because the insurgents they're hoping that you'll repeat your patterns and you'll walk the same way in that you did out. So you're constantly having to shift your tactics and your techniques and your procedures. You cannot get in a rhythm out there. It's extremely challenging, but that's the nature of it. Anyway, we identified this house, we hit this house, and so, kick the door open, flashbang grenade, so there's no fragmentation, just loud, and we enter this house, and we search it, and it's clear. And what we found was a woman, and it could have been like 5 or 6 children that she had in the house. And on this particular day, I did not have my interpreter with me. We always had an interpreter. His name was Al. At least that was his government name, Al. And he was a young 21-year-old kid from Baghdad. And so he was with us the entire deployment. And on this particular day, I think Al was with another platoon. And so I didn't have him. But I do have some Marines that this is their 3rd deployment already. So they can piece together some Arabic. And so we clear this house, and as we always do, anybody that we find in that house, you collect them up, you put them in a corner, you put a Marine with a rifle on them while the rest of us clear the house. And so once it's all cleared, we come back down to it was a multi-story house. We get back down to the first floor, and I'm asking this lady questions. Is there any bad guys in the area? Any insurgents in the area? She won't even look at me. She doesn't even respond to me. And I don't blame her, because I just kicked her front door in, threw a flashbang grenade in. She's probably has her ears ringing. There's been a Marine with a loaded rifle pointed at her and her kids. I don't blame her for not being cordial. It's an environment filled with fear. She probably doesn't know if she's going to live within the next minute or two. And here I am asking questions. And she's not responding at all. And so here's the second God moment. I'm in Marine mode right now. I'm doing my job. But then I feel the Lord prompt me to do something. And he reminded me that in my pocket, I took a family photo of me and my kids, my wife and my kids, before I left the country. And I had it laminated because I knew it was going to go through it, and I kept it in my breast pocket at all time. But I had to open up my vest and take off my helmet, which is something you don't do when you're out there. But I wanted her to identify me as the person in the picture. And I thought, okay, I just felt like the Lord told me, take your picture out and show it to her, right? And so I do. I take my gear off and I take my picture out, and she's not looking at me, so I have to put it under her face. And all of her kids are hugged up on her. And I showed her the picture, and she holds it, and I said, that's me, and that's my wife, and those are my children. And I said, I'm a dad just like you're a mom. And I'm not here to hurt you. We're here to help you. And she shows her kids, and they're giggling. Kids are laughing. And she looks up to me, and in perfect English, she said, your family is beautiful. And it was a wild experience, because you could have cut the tension with a knife in that room. It was so filled with fear. Mind you, we've been on this operation clearing this city out for the last 10 days. It's been gunfire and explosions. And now she's got this Marine element in her house. She's probably thinking this is it. And in one moment of compassion, the Bible says that perfect love expels all fear. And I believe that in that moment, through one act of compassion or love, I really feel like all the fear was expelled out of that room. And this woman began to share with us information, a lot of information. Her husband was killed a year before by the insurgents. That's why it's just her and her kids. But she ended up sharing a lot of intel from what had been happening, and it was incredible. And I had no interpreter that day. And it was very seldom that I came across an English-speaking Iraqi like that. And it was incredible. It was an incredible. Now, that's not something that I repeated and did again and again and again. That was like a one-time. I felt like the Lord said, do that. And it yielded incredible results. And again, it was something that all the Marines saw and we witnessed. And it was just like, that's not normal. That is not normal over here. But that was pretty powerful. So